Mr. Eggplant presents...
Hey guys, Tyler here, thank you for checking out this video. This is going to be my first timed key, not only of the tier, but for the expansion. So this is going to be a +10 timed Ara-Kara City of Echoes, and this was recorded during the current week, so the affixes are going to be Xalatath's Bargin, Devour, then we have Fortified, Challenger's Peril, and then finally Tyrannical. And I am playing a Sentinel Marksman Hunter in this run, and you're already going to see me drop my Lunar Storm in a bad place, and that's going to be the #1 way to increase your damage on a Sentinel Marksman Hunter. Just make sure that you're dropping good Lunar Storms, and that's easier said than done, particularly if tanks move out of it. But I had already communicated with Trinkets, which is our new tank and will most likely be in almost all of the runs you see in future weeks. It was a really great group, and this is most likely going to be our group comp moving forward as we're trying to push higher and higher keys. We have some really good cleave damage and a lot of utility in this group. But we're going to go ahead and pull everything we can. This first pack here, I'm just sending cooldowns, and then I'm trying to get better at dropping those good Lunar Storms. And Trinkets did a really great job of pulling everything together and then just planting. And I just need to do a better job of making sure that I'm dropping and delaying that rapid fire just enough to drop those in good places. And we're going to pull everything up to this mini boss here, and this is a pretty deadly mini boss just because of one of its abilities, which is Horrifying Shrill, which is being casted right now. If you do not interrupt that, it is an AoE fear, so everybody's going to get hit with the fear. And we did see that first Xalatath's Bargin Devour, and it's something that you have to dispel. You can do all this other stuff. You can heal through it. We're going to miss this Shrill just because everybody else is on cooldown with their interrupts. Feels bad, but it didn't cost us, so it wasn't that big of a deal. You can get double tapped by that spray, though. Also, before I jump any further, if you want to dodge that spray, you just get on the back side of the mini-boss. He won't cast it that direction. So send all your melee or anybody else who wants to stack over there, and you don't have to worry about that mechanic at all. So I'm waiting for Trinkets to go ahead and set everything up so I can mow it down. And that Xalatath's Bargin, all you have to do is feign death when it comes out, and you get rid of it. Because if with your feign death, if you're using one of the talents over in the general side of our trees, you'll be able to dispel any diseases or any poisons with your turtle and your feign death, and feign death will come into play in the last boss as well. But it will get rid of this Xalatath's Bargin entirely. So you wait 3, 2, 1. I'm going to feign death, and now I've popped that, and now everybody has that bonus chance to crit. And with us as a marksman hunter, we already have a high amount chance to crit to begin with, so we are absolutely mowing some of these packs down. I'll be really excited this next coming week when we get the Haste buff again, but for now, I suppose I'll take crit. Crit definitely feels pretty good on a marksman hunter, and it feeds into our a couple of our talents that will give us higher chances to get, or higher crit damage as well, thanks to our penetrating shots. So with this mini boss, he just does that call, and it does a ton of damage. That's where I'm going to use one of my defensives. I happen to use my Survival of the Fittest there, and we're just going to cleave off of them. Luckily, there's a ton of cleave potential, at least 3 to 5 targets. I'm going to dodge the web spray entirely here, so I don't have to move. You also don't want to get hit with the circles. That's a boss mechanic as well. That Call of the Brood, that's where you're going to be taking a lot of damage. I was kind of testing to see if I could survive it or not without a cooldown. As long as I'm not taking damage on a 10, it looks like I can, but I'm not going to get in the habit of that. And then, also my consumables and stuff like that, I am using the Chaos Flask, and then I have all of my other consumables down in the description of the video, including the Tempered Potion for my pre-pot. Right, I'm just using base healing potions, the 1-star. There's not a huge difference between 1 and 3-star, but once my alchemy gets high enough, then I'll have some higher quality consumables, and I'm not fully enchanted in this video as well. Now that I'm finally getting those gilded crests, since they changed how you get those, so you can get those from +8s or higher now, which is a huge change. It's a huge quality of life change for us players. I will have more gilded crests, and that way I can start upgrading some of this gear, because I was kind of hard locked at 6, for the longest time, 614 until I got the weapon. But this mini boss just has the poison circles. We didn't really have to worry about those at all, and we are already heading up to the boss. I haven't talked too much about my my cooldown usage yet because I'm just sending it. The only thing that, and oh, by the way, I'm also holding my Devour right now, so I'm gonna refresh that dot here in just a second as soon as the boss becomes active. Now, there we go, I feigned death, and now that refreshed our dot. That's something that you can do if you want to get the most out of it, but that's very much a min-maxy thing to do. But maybe you need to do that if you are pushing higher keys. So now, on this boss fight, I saved all my cooldowns, and now I am tasked to try to kill almost all of these crawlers. I was trying to do it by myself, and I'm pretty sure I can. For whatever reason, I didn't use Explosive Shot right away. Your guess is as good as mine on that. In theory, I should be able to take most of those myself. When Gossamer Onslaught comes out, you want to be grouped up together and not stand in the swirls. Unfortunately, the swirls got Odwin, but the Odwin Paladin sacrifice made it so we could time this key. So I'm glad that he did us all a big service. So there, I'm going to go ahead and throw out my Tar Trap, and if I had Binding Shot, it's not quite up for every one of them. You'll be able to deal with the crawlers, so as long as they're not, you're not attacking the one that is tethered to you, that's running towards you, you don't really need to worry about getting hit by them. Here's the next Gossamer Onslaught, and I think this is the one where I get caught. I should no, actually, it might be, it's the next one I get caught. So I found myself in a bad position, unfortunately. It got me so turned around that I actually started going the wrong way at the end of this boss. Whoops. So I have my Lunar Storm that's right there. What I should have done was waited to use my Rapid Fire, then to hit the crawlers. So I could have put down my Tar Trap, my Binding Shot, and then hit them with the Rapid Fire that dropped the... I guess I technically did, so never mind. I did it right. That way, they're taking all that Lunar Storm damage. Look at that. We absolutely annihilated them. Almost 1.3 million. A lot of that is cleave, though, don't get me wrong. Here's where I'm going to get caught, because I see this stuff to the right. I don't want to pull it. We pulled the one crawler. I didn't want to pull the Engorged, so I find myself in a bad position. I do misdirect to Crit Cake, so we don't have that beating on Odwin or whoever was over there. So I'm just going to run through the stuff. Luckily, it didn't do too much damage to me. On some fights, like the third boss in Necrotic Wake, usually the stuff on the ground absolutely annihilates you, but we didn't have that much of a problem with it in this run. But we're just finishing off the boss. He's at 13% or so health. Finishing off the crawlers. Crawlers are very, very important. And like I said, I can, for the most part, deal with them by myself. I just need to do a better job of using all the cooldowns that I've saved to hit them with. But here comes the last little bit on Avanox, and we're going to move on to the next boss. And here I'm already, like I said, I am walking the wrong way. I expect some grief in the comments from Teach if he checks this video out. I got it in comms when we were doing the run. Don't know what I was thinking. I was blinded by our success, and it sent me in the wrong direction. But we have, this is why, like I said earlier, we have two choices. We go right or we go left. And then in our group, and most likely in all future videos, we are going to go right. So I'm saving my cooldowns here because Crit Cakes had said that we're going to be doing a bigger pull, and this pull only has 2 big mobs, and all the others will die pretty quickly. So I opted to just save my True Shot, since we still do some pretty good damage, even without True Shot, just thanks to our cleave. So we're going to do a big pull here. There's some important interrupts that you want to get, which one of those is that Revolting Volley, for example, from the Web Mage. I tend to just cleave off of the big Blood Guard, and I've used all of my cooldowns here, and I'm just doing my rotation. And so if you guys are unfamiliar with the rotation, you're just going to go Explosive Shot, then you're going to go Volley, True Shot, Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, and then Multi-Shot, Aim Shot, Multi-Shot, Rapid Fire, just so on and so forth, whichever one is up. But you can usually, if you have at least 8% haste, like I do, I think I actually have 12 in this run, you should be able to go Explosive Shot, Volley, True Shot, Rapid Fire, Aim Shot. There's a ton of damage there. And then you do want to stun the beetles that cast the call. I'll get the exact name once I see it. Again, that is a must, because if you don't stun it, which you can stun with Intimidate, you can knock it up. You can't interrupt it, but you can knock it up. You can do all that stuff with it. It'll just recast right after that. But if you don't, it will call all this stuff, and you're going to have a bad time. You can purge off of the assistant. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. I just purge it whenever I can. This big pull here, or I should say, this is not the big pull. We're going to have a big pull after this. So I should not have used my True Shot here, but the way that our build works, I'm just sending True Shot as much as possible within reason, so I can whittle the cooldown of it to get it back up, because you can get a ton of True Shots out right now, and in 11.05 you're going to get even more thanks to the additional focus regeneration we're going to get in our build, whether that be with steady focus or just improved steady shot to give us more focus every time we cast our steady shot. Because it goes from 0 base to 10 base plus 10, and then for steady focus, it's just using it once. If you guys are unfamiliar, it's going to be game-changing for sure. But we're already 30 seconds left on True Shot, so maybe it wasn't that bad that I used it there. I do know he's going to take a couple seconds to get everything grouped up. Then we do have the bugs. They have the Alarm Shrill, the Stag Shell. So what I've been doing is I just cleave off of them, get them out of there. They have a decent amount of health, but as long as somebody's focusing them, we can kind of call out to the group, oh, this one needs a stun, it doesn't. Here comes the True Shot, and then I'm just going to literally send. That's pretty standard anymore. Use True Shot. It will make sure you have your rapid fire and aim shots up. If you can time it with your volley, but I wouldn't delay it too much, because you'll just miss out on full True Shots for an entire run if you do it that way. Just interrupting those volleys, and then we have what, 2 more pulls. We have a pull that's going to have 2 of the beetles, the shrill beetles, the alarm beetles. And we're going to have 1 pull with 1 of the Anub'ikkaj looking guys, and then we'll actually take on the Anub'ikkaj looking boss, but it'll be Anub'ikkaj. Anub'ikkaj. I like Anub'ikkaj better. It sounds like a better name. Anyway, melted this pack here, looking at my True Shot. I'm also changing my specialization to survival, since we are trying to fish for his weapon. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Next time, buddy, for sure. I hope we get that. We have 2 stag shells here, so we're just going ahead and making sure that we're cleaving off of it. That's my goal. My goal is obviously no stag shell alarms ever go off when we go into Ara-Kara. I want to use my True Shot as much as possible, but also have True Shot up for the boss. So because of that, I left it on cooldown. Could I have used it here? Yes, I probably could have used it here, knowing that we have another pack, then the boss, but I opted to play it safe because single target is not our forte on a marksman hunter. It's not where we make our money, so to speak. So you do want to have True Shot up, and that means if you have to delay it until you're comfortable with the exact timings, definitely do that. Because if I could have used it there, and I don't think I would have had it up. And because of the way careful aim works, so you do 50% more damage with your aim shots when your target is above 70% health. That's where a lot of your damage comes in until you get to your execute phase. And the perfect pull for us would be have True Shot up for the beginning of a fight and at the end, where we're doing the most damage in our kit. So Anub'ikkaj 2.0, I'll call him, even though I think this fight is much better than the Anub'ikkaj fight, has a couple of abilities. That Impale is targeted on the tank and will shoot in a cone. It's a pretty standard giant Nerubian at this point ability. Here comes that Burrow Charge. I'm just going to disengage back, so I ignore it entirely. If you don't have your disengage up, you can also use Turtle, and you don't have to worry about it. When the ad comes out here, we're trying to misdirect to the tank, and then interrupt the silken restraints. There we go. then Anub'ikkaj will bring in the circle, and we have significantly less room to move. I actually really like this fight. I didn't initially, and it's one of my favorites so far in this first set of Mythic Pluses. So Crit Cakes is bringing the frontal to the right side. That means we have the entire left side to work with. When you have Infestation like Sai does there, you bring it to the outside of the circle because that's what drops these circles here, and they do ticking damage. And they're just an annoyance, but they do a ton of damage whenever the boss is on Tyrannical. We're at approximately half health. We're looking at my True Shot. I have 8 seconds left, so it's going to be about 3 seconds in just a second. And I have another Burrowing Charge. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage there. I was out there dropping my my Swarm. So that is something you want to drop that as far away from the group as possible because it does track towards us, and which is very annoying. Whenever the Web Mage is out, I try to have my volley up so I can do a cleave from the boss onto the mage. Doesn't always happen, but mages do come out throughout the encounter and do need to be interrupted. But we're looking at the boss's health, 40%, and we have about a minute 30 left on our True Shot, which is looking to be a perfect amount of health to time left ratio to have another one out at the end of the fight. This fight, you don't get as much value from your Lunar Storm since a ton of the time the boss is moving, like he just moved out of it. You are still getting a decent amount. There's a couple of spots where he does stand for a decent period of time. But we're looking at the boss's health. We have 20% left on the boss's health there. It's still 80 million damage though. 30 seconds left on True Shot. Will I get True Shot up? I don't know. So my goal right now, as you started to see me do it, is just start spamming focus. I just want to spin focus to get that True Shot back. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to be able to get it up. We have Xalatath's Bargin comes out. I go ahead and deal with that. Use my defensive, use my disengage, and Anub'ikkaj 2.0 is down, and True Shot just came up. It is what it is, but that does mean that I have it up for this next pull. Looking at the timer, we have 2 minutes and 50-ish seconds left, and we haven't really been bit by that Challenger's Peril 15 seconds lost every time we die. We are going to lose a little bit of it on this final boss just because for one reason or another, but luckily for us as a marksman hunter, we don't have too much issue with the final boss. In fact, I think I have an out for almost everything and an oh crap moment, or an oh crap button in the form of Turtle. So this Overseer we pulled by itself. It has the erupting webs on the ground. There's going to be 2 of them, I believe, just before the final boss. But I do know I have a big pull coming, so I am holding that True Shot, and you're going to see why here in just a second. This Overseer did take a little bit long to kill, though. You could tell that quite a few people were holding their cooldowns, but at the same time, the boss has just, or that mini boss, honestly, has just a ton of health. Okay, it's not a mini boss, but you know what I mean. So we have these drones here. I'm waiting to see if he was pulling anything else. He's not. Here comes the True Shot with volley. I didn't quite get him lined up the way I wanted it to, but it worked out perfectly because I feigned death there. And now we have these carriers coming in, and then this is where our damage really takes off. In fact, it almost took off too much where it took my life. But we got up to about 3.6, oh, actually a little bit higher than that now, 3.7 million or so, 3.8, 3.9. Will we see 4? No, we won't because True Shot's done. But the way that worked, it was almost perfect, where everything came in at, it had to have been hit by volley, it would have been even better, volley with salvo would have been even better. But everything came in as some of the other stuff was dying, so I was getting some stacks of bullseye, and we were just cleaving. Like, more cleave is never a bad thing. And something I didn't see in the original run-through with it, Crit Cakes actually went and grabbed a couple of ads to bring onto this Nerubian Hauler. That is actually huge for me, because that's more targets to cleave. Guess what? There's 3 targets I can now cleave. That is a huge boost to Marksman Hunter damage. Had he have brought in 2, it wouldn't have really mattered, for me at least. And this Hauler does this massive slam. It's a stacking damage increase from the next slam. So you want to just melt him as quick as you can, because eventually he will kill you just because he's been up too long. and you can't stun him or anything like that. So he casts it approximately every 15 seconds. I think we got up to 4, or I think we got up to 5 stacks. But I'm looking at cooldowns. I do want to have them up for the boss. I don't remember on this run if I actually use it on the trash or not. I don't think I do, because I don't think I would have had it up for the boss. Just depends on how much health I have when I run up to the ads. That's when I make my my decision. So almost down with the Nerubian Hauler. Dude has a ton of health. Absolute ton of health. But we don't get the next hit, so didn't have to worry about it. We have 2 Overseers here. They have 101 million, so that's approximately a fourth of what the boss's health is. So they're, for all intents and purposes, they're mini bosses. I stand by what I said. But we're just going to cleave, and whenever there's 2 targets, I'm not using Arcane Shot. I'm still using Multi-Shot. It's still doing more damage if you use Multi-Shot versus Arcane Shot when there's a 2-target cleave situation. Using Feign Death to deal with these Xalatath's Bargin Devour. Have that 5 stacks, and True Shot is up. We have 9 minutes left in the key, and we are just moving along. Now, we're going to hit some stumbling blocks on the Harvester, the final boss here. But the boss lulls you into a false sense of security because everything kind of happens at once. And by the way, I love the voice lines from this boss. All right, so 469 million health. Let's go. So I'm just going to do my normal opener there. I should have used Rapid Fire first. Don't know why I didn't. I'm going to move out of those. And these Blood Workers, whenever you hit them, they drop a circle on the ground. This line here, I make sure that's a poison, so you can use Feign Death to get rid of it. All I do is make sure I position myself to not shoot the wave at somebody in my group, and then I'm going to take one of these circles over here. Unfortunately, we did lose Oddwind there, but during the Cosmic Singularity, you can use Bubble, you can use your Turtle, and you will not die, even if you're in the right next to the boss. And then I don't have my Feign Death up quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and use it now. But I have to be in a good position because it doesn't make any sense if I break that and then hit somebody with it, because that wave does a ton of damage. And then I'm going to try to hit the Blood Worker here to get another circle on the ground, and I try to stand near it. I don't want to be out of range for my healer, but I do have a bunch of outs, because whenever you walk into the circles, you have to get out of the route. You can get out of the route by stunning it, or you can just use your disengage. So if you have disengage off cooldown, or on cooldown I should say, you can just use your intimidate to get out of that. So we lost 2 DPS there, so we're starting to bleed time a lot faster. I moved, so I didn't hit, I think that's Psy, yeah, Cybellum. I didn't want to hit him with my waves. So right now we are going to be doing we don't have any more B-reses, so we are doing the remainder of this dungeon fight and the remainder of this entire Mythic Plus with 2 DPS and 1 DPS down. So I'm just doing my normal rotation here. I'm going to dodge as much as possible, but while staying in range of Psy. Here comes the root with the... or for the, I forget what that ability was just there. Anyway, the draw in ability, the singularity. There we go. The name escaped me. Feign Death. There, get rid of that. And I try to run out as far as possible and shoot it to where nobody will ever be. And then during this whole time, the Black Blood are slowly running around. I tried to misdirect those. I actually didn't in this run for whatever reason, because I was just so locked in. But you want to kill those, because if you don't and they get to the boss, they heal the boss. So you want to keep that in mind. So I'm looking at my positioning. I'm trying to position myself so no one is in front of me or behind me. And I think that's Teach that's right there. I don't want him to hit me either. Because what can happen, like there's a bad overlap here where I have to be in this circle, but somebody could be hitting their poison at me and killing me. So that there is some really nasty double taps, but thanks to the ability to get rid of poisons with our Feign Death, it makes this significantly easier, because that poison chunks. It seriously, seriously hurts. And the erupting webs, I don't know if they'll kill you, but they'll probably take 90% of your health, so you don't want to hit those. as well. At this point, I just started just AoEing. Even if they're, because after a while I just started sending. I'm like, hey, he's down there, I'll send it. And so I just started using my multi-shot pretty religiously instead of arcane shot. But we're in our bullseye range now. I am stacking up those bullseye stacks. So I have a 38% base chance to crit with true shot, which is another 10%. And then with that stacking crit plus the crit from Xalatath's Bargin, so that's what? 38 plus 10, 48, plus 30, 78, plus 20, 98% chance to crit when everything is stacked up and I have everything. Oh, by the way, I get more crit damage based on my crit chance. So it gets nutty very, very quickly. But down goes the Harvester, and this is our first timed 10 in our first portal run of the season and expansion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Be sure and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Eggplant. I've got a ton more videos out for you guys very soon. I have a vacation to get to though, so I hope you guys have a really great weekend, and I will see you in a later video.